I'm a guy who lives over here on the West Coast in BC. I'm in Vancouver, BC. That's why I'm a Canucks fan, but I do also have my fair share of fandoms in other teams. I went to BCIT for 2 years for radio arts and entertainment, and over there I made some friends who also are into hockey. Earlier yesterday, in the group chat with the boys, we were talking about the Detroit Red Wings and what happened to them at the 2020 draft lottery. Now, to spare you the details, I don't really need to talk about that because everybody kind of knows what happened, and everybody, if you're a Detroit fan, they're pretty much just upset to the moon right now. The conversation I had with my BCIT peeps started off by bringing up the Red Wings themselves. And me, because I'm a guy who does sympathize with the Red Wings fan base, I said, I'm really upset. I'm frustrated for them, and I feel bad. My buddies replied, hey, no, screw the Red Wings, man. If you intentionally tank like that, you deserve to get burned. And my immediate response was, I kind of disagree. I think that the Red Wings weren't necessarily tanking, quote unquote. I just kind of feel in my heart that they really were that bad. Just up and away the worst team that we've seen in the salary cap era. And the coaching, the management, they didn't do any favors to help out that team, but at the same time, it's not like winning was in the agenda for this year either. But Red Wings fans online that I've seen, Red Wings fans in my comments section, on Twitter, on Reddit, everybody in Detroit fandom is in shambles right now, and it's understandable to see why. This team was terrible, it was worse than every other team we have seen in the salary cap era, and all of a sudden, from going from first to fourth, it is a playoff team now who will most likely get that first overall pick. Life sucks, eh? Life really does suck, and I understand why Red Wings fans are upset. I'm upset for them too. It's just, when I take a look at the Red Wings and I take a look at their draft position, I still see a boatload of potential. Now, today we're getting into a little bit of a philosophical kind of thing, because I can understand why Red Wings fans are upset. I know why you guys are mad, and I agree with it. It's just, in my opinion, there is more to be happy about than to be frustrated about at the same time. Because when I take a look at the Red Wings at number 4, I take a look at the Red Wings and I see, hey, this team has not drafted this high in an entry draft in 30 years. The last time the Red Wings had a pick that was this high, it was in 1990, where they selected Keith Primo. And no matter who the Red Wings take at number 4, whether that's a Stützle or a Byfield or a Rossi or a Raymond or a Drysdale, that prospect that the Red Wings drafted 4th overall is going to be the best prospect this team has seen in, 25 years? Prospect, mind you, not the best player, but the best prospect. Because taking a look at who the Red Wings have in their prospect system right now, the guy who they take at 4 is gonna be better value-wise than all of those guys. Schneider is probably the most valuable Red Wings prospect today, but if you had Rossi on your organization, is he more valuable? I would say so. Even historically speaking, the prospect that the Red Wings will take at number 4, when this guy is drafted, would it not be fair to say that this guy is going to have more value to the organization than Filip Zadina did when he was drafted? I honestly would say so. Go back the last few years and you see Michael Rasmussen. Okay, he's not going to be more valuable. Cholowski, no. Svechnikov, no. Larkin, you could debate that, but that's only because of what Larkin is today and not necessarily because of what Larkin was back then. And going back throughout the past few years of Red Wings drafting, there isn't a guy who, in my opinion, is as valuable as the player that they're going to take at 4. And I can say that because the 2020 draft is so deep, it's so talented, it's so skilled, there's so much potential with all the guys who are projected to go in the top 15 of this year's draft class. So even if the Red Wings don't take Lafreniere, they are still taking who, in my opinion, could be defined as the best prospect the team has seen in decades, pretty much. And I know it burns seeing the fact that the Red Wings were last place in pretty much everything this past season, but they're not last place in the draft by a long shot. But still, getting a player that you're going to get, that's something to cheer about. Even Steve Yzerman, after the draft lottery concluded, he went on, and they got the quote over here. He said, I'm not surprised with you that the Red Wings dropped to 4th overall. Not being dramatic, but mostly because taking a look at the odds, this was more likely anyway. This is the chart of the 2020 draft position odds, and the Red Wings had a 50.6% chance of dropping down to 4. Their chances at staying in the top 3 were very slightly less than the chances of them getting 1 pick at 4th overall. So, mathematically, this shouldn't be a surprise. Does it make it sting any less? No, I get that, but at the same time, there are better things to do with your time than being angry. No matter what your opinion is or your belief is towards the draft and whether or not it's rigged, I don't want to talk about that in this video. Just think about this draft lottery not as if you lost Alexis Lafreniere, but that you're gaining whoever it is you're going to get at number 4. Again, Rossi, Stützle, Byfield, Drysdale, Askarov, Raymond, Holtz, you name it. Think about it as the acquisition of one of these players, and I guarantee you that seeing the future a few years down the line, you're going to take a look at that and you're going to say, yeah, you know, this guy changed the franchise. This guy is one of the more valuable pieces in our organization because the Red Wings, going back the past few years, have never had the opportunity to get a guy this valuable. Now, I get that you guys have the Datsyuks and the Zetterbergs, the late-round guys who eventually became valuable, but those don't really count. Those guys drafted at the end of the drafts are not supposed to become what Datsyuk and Zetterberg became. It's just they're the exceptions and not the rules. The rules here go usually top picks become good, and this kind of player that the Red Wings will get is going to project to be better than any of the prospects they've drafted in the last few decades, pretty much. And if even Steve Yzerman is saying, yeah, you know, not surprised, then I think it's just up to Red Wings fans now to make the decision to start thinking about this in a positive way. Not the draft lottery system in itself, not getting screwed over by the league and having a playoff team win Lafreniere. Just think about your organization, think about the future, and think about what a Marco Rossi could be doing alongside of Filip Zadina. Think about having a top 4 D-core of Dennis Chalowski, Moritz Seider, Albert Johansson, and Jamie Drysdale. Think about the potential that a Yaroslav Askarov could have in carrying this team forward into the next 15 years of Red Wings hockey. Let's pull a quote over here from Scouching. He said this on his Scouching Live podcast. A good goaltender, a franchise goaltender, makes everybody else's job easier. It makes the GM's job a lot easier. It makes the coach's job a lot easier. It makes the players in front of him's jobs easier. A good goalie can make a bad team win games, and we know that. The fact of the matter is the Red Wings' possibilities for drafting here have opened up, and we know that the player they take at number 4 is going to have sky-high potential. And that's what I want you to think about. Stop thinking about Lafreniere because that's just going to get you angry. And on this YouTube channel, I want to build up not just hockey knowledge and hockey discussions, but also allowing yourself to think about things in a positive way. I know I've never said that before, but I'd much rather want to promote that kind of message than promote a message of just being angry the entire time and thinking that the draft lottery is rigged. Life is much more fun when you believe that things are not against you 24/7. Right? Right. It's also why I chose to make this video 2 days after the entry draft, or excuse me, the lottery, and not the day after, because the day after I wanted to talk about the Montreal thing and how that's hilariously funny. Also, Quinton Byfield going to the Kings, that is absolutely scary to me, but the Red Wings have a chance to make their lineup even scarier as well. So, Red Wings fans, who do you want to take at number 4? Because of the variance on how people think the draft is going to go, I honestly would not be surprised if any of Byfield, Stützle, Marco Rossi, Drysdale, Askarov, Raymond, Holtz, Lundell, any of these guys were available, because probably the only thing that's guaranteed is that Lafreniere is going top 2. Everything else is out there in the open. My mock draft from yesterday said that the Red Wings were going to take from Mannheim at the DEL Tim Stützle, but I got a lot of criticism saying, you know what, you're crazy, how the heck is he going to be available at 4? If LA makes the unlikely decision of missing out on him, then there's no way that Ottawa is going to miss out on him either, but you gotta remember, Filip Zadina dropped to 6th overall. So, there's a lot to talk about and there's a lot to get into, but if you're a Red Wings fan, which I guess you are because you clicked on this video, who do you want the Red Wings to draft the most? Lafreniere's out of the picture, but every other name is in play. Give me 2 guys you want, because I'm pretty sure everybody is going to say Stützle, because if he's going to be available at 4, people are just going to think, okay, get him. But if it's not Stützle, who else? Comment down below what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, I hope that I promoted the positive mindset for Red Wings fans a little bit strongly in this one. So, that's Ross99, and bye.